Namaskar. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to yet another fun learning session with us. We are GG Delhi NCR here. I'm Sangeeta Gulati, leader of GG Delhi NCR, and with me, I have Rupali, who is our Learn Captain. So, Rupali, how does it feel to be back online and ready to present and bring another exciting tool for our friends?
Yeah, Sangeeta ma'am, it's really exciting to be back on online and bringing that element of creativity yet another session. And I want all my audience to feel that excitement today because today's session is going to be extremely fruitful, extremely interactive. And as GG Delhi NCR, we all are very, very excited. And we want every audience to actually take the best advantage of today's session.
Right, absolutely. And so, in without any further delay, I'm going to bring in our guest for today. Again, as if you've been with us, we've completed 3 years of bringing you these exciting sessions. You would know that we always try to bring you something which will make learning interactive. Where you can use some of the exciting content that you have already created, want to just add that little extra zing to it, and then of course with your Google Classroom take that on and have the students interact with it. So today's guest is definitely going to showcase something which will help you to do all of that. So I'm going to bring on stage Dimitri, who is here representing Book Widgets. So Dimitri, welcome to GG Delhi NCR stage. We are very happy to have you here with presenting the book widgets. And as one would possibly may have heard about it, may not have heard about it, we are excited. So I guess anybody who's going to join us live or will watch the recording later will realize that there is lots of new things that are going to come today in our session. Just a little thing that I know about Dimitri is right now, of course, he's representing Book Widgets as representative of the sales and marketing team. But in our brief conversation we just had, Dimitri did mention that he was a teacher at one time. So that is always exciting. So Dimitri, welcome, and over to you to share a little more about yourself, and what does book widget means to you, and what do you think it will help us achieve, if you can share something on that.
For sure. Hi, Sangeeta and Rupali, and hi, all the viewers. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm excited as well to tell you about book widgets indeed and how it can make teaching and learning more interactive. As mentioned, I have an education background myself. I used to be French teacher, teaching French language to mainly Dutch-speaking learners because I'm from Belgium, where I'm still at the moment. So there's a little time difference. For me, it's not the evening yet. But anyway, happy to tell you a bit more about Book Widgets. I've joined the company about 2.5 years ago now. So what is Book Widgets? Well, it is a content creation and evaluation tool for teachers. And it is also a Google for Education partner, an official Google for Education partner. So it's a tool that will allow teachers to create interactive content. There's a widget library with a lot of different activity types, and all these can be used within Google Classroom. There is synchronization of the results. There's the possibility to send feedback to the students within Google Classroom, and much more, which I will try to show you in, I think, like between 40-45 minutes. That's what I'll try to do.
Right. So as one has heard in just one statement that there's so much that one can do, because anytime a teacher looks for adding something extra to the regular content that teachers are taking, they want some kind of an interaction. They are looking for some kind of also an opportunity to give feedback to the teachers, and also assigning or reaching out to the students through a digital medium platform, which is what Google Classroom would do for it. So seems like everything coming together in BookWidget. So we are very eager to learn. I'm going to share your screen and then leave the stage to you. We'll keep track of the conversation happening in YouTube and Facebook. So this is just for the audience who has joined us right now. Do at any time you feel to have want to have a clarity or ask a question, put that in the chat. But also, let me first welcome you for joining us today. I can already see some of our very regular viewers already here. So thank you for joining in right now. But feel free as we go along to ask questions so that we can learn a little more. So I'm bringing your screen up on stage, and we are going to remove ourselves from here, and you can take over from here. Thank you so much, Dimitri, for joining us here at this time of the day from Belgium. So
Yeah,
we are right behind.
it's a pleasure, and thanks again for inviting me. So, what is BookWidgets? I already mentioned it's a content creation and evaluation tool for teachers. In a nutshell, there's four important elements in BookWidgets. First of all, the widget library, which I will show you. It's or 40 plus different kinds of interactive activities or exercises teachers can create. We have integrations in different LMSs, and today, of course, I'm gonna show you the integration that we have in Google Classroom. And then very important is also the student progress the teacher can monitor and the reporting the teacher can do afterwards. There's a lot of fun edtech tools online available for practicing, but what we find important is also this follow-up, which of course I will show you as well in the presentation today. So the widget library, as I mentioned, there's over 40 different content creation templates. There's quizzes, timelines, interactive games, and I will quickly go to the examples, which will immediately give you an idea of the possibilities. So all these little icons you see here, we'll see them again later when I show book widgets inside Google Classroom. But this is our widget library. And there's different categories of activities. And the green ones is or are the test and evaluations, where you will find, for example, a quiz. So I have an example of a quiz here, and this quiz is about frogs. And the students will go through the quiz by clicking on the arrows in the bottom right or left corner. And inside a quiz, like in this example, the teacher can ask questions to the students. And what's interesting is the vast, the big possibilities of types of questions that teachers have. So here there's a multiple choice question. This is a question with images. There are open-ended questions, images that students need to drag and drop in the right order, fill in the blanks, and so on. So there's a total of 36 different question types, giving a lot of possibilities to teachers. We'll find the same question types in another activity, which is called the worksheet. So here all the questions are shown one below the other. And again, here there's multiple choice, there are open-ended questions, there is fill in the blank activity. Here, students need to indicate, for instance, the adjectives in red. So for language learning, it's a great tool, but actually BookWidgets works for any kind of subject because there's so many possibilities. There's widget types or question types as well for math, for science. So it's really a tool that you're going to be able to use for any kind of language and any kind of level, and also any kind of device. It works on Chromebooks, of course, but just regular laptops or even smartphones. If sometimes students don't have a laptop or a Chromebook, you can open it on a smartphone if needed. Meanwhile, I've opened another example, which is the split worksheet. It's great, for example, like here for reading comprehension, because students need to read the text on the right side and answer the questions on the left side. So they can read and answer at the same time. They have one screen or one window where they have both. They no longer need to download the PDF and then open it in a different browser tab, for example. So it's very practical. And you could do the same thing, not with a PDF, but with other types of content. Even like a YouTube video could be here, and then having the questions next to it. But if you are working with the YouTube video, there's another possibility, which is called the video quiz. So there's a quiz here. First, students will get some directions. They read these directions or instructions and continue the video. And then they will start watching a YouTube video. But inside this video, the teacher has and insert some questions. So you'll see at some point the video will automatically pause. I don't know if you hear the sound of the video. It's coming through my computer. So the video automatically paused, and then students can answer the questions, continue the video to watch the next part, get the next questions, and in the end, of course, send this to the teacher. Now, you may have noticed that as a student, I could skip some parts of the video or I could go back, but these are all things the teacher can change. Teacher has a lot of possibilities in terms of settings. So there's a lot of things that you can still change in terms of settings to make it really, to configure it really the way you want. Maybe you have seen in one of the examples, the students could see the points for each questions. In another activity, it was not the case. Once again, this is something that the teacher can choose by changing the settings. Maybe I will show you two other kinds of activities here. I've already been playing a little bit, so you have already one answer that I've given. Students need to listen and then try to find the pairs, like here. So once again, great for language learning, but could be also for different activities. And maybe to end, the hotspot image, basically it's an interactive image, and if students click on a part of the image, they get to another activity. It could also be a pop-up showing up. Once again, there's a lot of possibilities. So that for the examples. I will now go to Google Classroom, where I'm logged in as a teacher and I'm inside one of my classes. And then BookWidgets, you will be able to add BookWidgets activities in the classwork tab. Now, one important thing to know is the way BookWidgets is integrated depends a little bit on the license of your Google Classroom or Google environment that your school is working with. If you have the Teaching and Learning upgrade or the Education Plus, you will have the add-ons, and BookWidgets will be within the add-ons. If your school is using the free version of Google Classroom, you will also be able to integrate BookWidgets, and I will show you today. So this one is without the Google add-on. It's the free version of Google Classroom. As you will see by clicking on Create, I have BookWidgets available here in the menu. Now, probably if you will try this out in your Google Classroom, in your Google account, you will not have it yet, because there's one step that you need to do before getting BookWidgets here inside Google Classroom, and it is adding a Google Chrome extension. So once again, this step is not needed for those that have the add-ons, the Teaching and Learning upgrade or the Education Plus licenses. All the other ones, you just go to Google and you search BookWidgets Chrome extension, and you should find this page. And here you can install the Chrome extension, which I already did. So I've the blue button now tells me that I can only remove it. Of course, I'm not going to remove it, but there you will have the possibility to add the Google Chrome extension. I will share this. I'm not sure if it's possible to share the link with you, but maybe if you, for some reason, you cannot find it, feel free to email us. But normally, you should be able to find it on Google, like I just did. And then once you've installed the Chrome extension, so you will see BookWidget here in your list. And then you will get BookWidgets right within Google Classroom. So there's no need to go to the BookWidgets website. There's no need to have a separate login and password. You have everything within Google Classroom, and that's, of course, very practical. Now, for me, it's already set up. If you're doing this the very first time, you will be asked to create an account, but the process is pretty straightforward. And once it's done, you will get the same thing as me. Of course, for you, first time you open it, it will be empty. Probably you will see some tutorial that we show to new users. I already have created some activities, some widgets in the past. So they are shown here in the My Widgets tab. And I could share one of these with my students. But of course, today I want to show you how you actually can create a new widget. So that's what I'm going to do. I click on Create New Widget on the left side, on the bottom. And then we have, once again, this widget library with all the different widget types. I've shown you some examples of quizzes, worksheets, the split worksheet, like for the reading comprehension test, a video quiz. There's flashcards, timelines. In orange, we have all the games like crossword puzzles, word search games, memory games, and so on. The hotspot image is here in the picture and videos section. For the math teachers, there's some activities here, but there's also within the quiz and within the worksheet, there's also some question types for math and science, and some other more advanced widget types, which I'm not going to detail today. Today, I'm going to create a worksheet. So when I click on the worksheet icon, I end up in this widget editor, as we call it. And here we always advise our users to work from the top to the bottom, so you don't skip any steps in the process. So today, let's say I'm teaching English and we're learning about transportation. I'm teaching English as a foreign language. So transportation is the title. Then if we work from top to bottom, we have about, but I'm going to skip this one today. Here, as a teacher, you could make some personal notes, which are never visible for students. I'm not going to use it today. I'm going right away to the questions, and I'm going to add some questions. And then you have the list of the 36 different question types with multiple choice questions, some open-ended questions, fill in the blanks, annotate picture. You can create a crossword within the worksheet or the quiz. There's audio recording questions where a student needs to answer with a recording. There is really a lot. And then for the math and science teachers, there are some specific question types here on the bottom of the list. So today I'll create a multiple choice question first. And my first question is going to be, which of the following modes of transport runs on tracks? And the possible answers are boats, planes, trains, of course, and helicopters. And I just need to check the correct answer to have an automatic grading afterwards. So I check the correct answer here. Now, my first question is kind of ready, actually, so I can always have a look at the preview on the bottom, on the top corner, top right corner, to check what this is going to be like or going to look like for my students. So here I have my question and my possible answers. So it looks okay with the X on the top right corner. Attention, there are two of them. So it's the one on the bottom that I need here, because if I would click on the other one, I would go out of BookWidgets. That would not be a big deal because everything you do is saved automatically. No, nothing would be lost. I could easily go back and continue editing my widgets, but let's click on the right one right away. So the preview is very handy. I'm using it all the time. For example, when I'm changing some settings here, random answer order, multi-column layout, I can hit the preview button again to check how it looks like now. How does it show up now? So now the possible answers in my multiple choice question are shown in 2 columns, and they are in a random order for each student in a different order, which of course makes cheating a little bit more difficult. There's some other options here. I'm not gonna present all of them. You can add a hint, you can add an image. The audio is maybe interesting. So here I have the possibility to record my question. Um, so I'm gonna record it here right away. Which of the following modes of transport runs on tracks? I'm not sure if you could hear it. I heard it here on my computer, so you can always check, and if it's okay, you click on accept. And when I click the preview button again, you'll see that the student has this audio below the question. So that's it for the first question. There's also the grading. I'm not going to change it here. It's just 1 point for this question, so that's good. I'm going to add a second question, and I want my students to combine words and images. They're learning the vocabulary of the different modes of transport, so I want them to combine with images. Now, the one that I need is the word picture match question. I know where it is. I know how it's called because I've been using BookWidgets for quite some time now. But if you're a new user, or if you just want to work in an efficient way, I would advise you to use the filter. And here, if I search for combine, or maybe even with other search terms, it might work as well, I find the word picture match question. So my question or my instruction here is combine the words and the images. Okay. And I'm going to add the different pairs. So let's start with a boat. And I'm gonna add an image of a boat. And I have 3 possibilities. I can choose an image from my computer, from my Google Drive, or find an image online. Now that third option is interesting because it's very handy. It goes very, very fast. Let's take this boat. Okay. Then I'm gonna add another one, and I'm gonna add a train. So find image online. And what we actually do here is we look for an image in an online image library, which is called Pixabay, and which is integrated. So let's take this one. And Pixabay is an image library with a lot of, with actually only right-free images. So you will never have any problems with copyright images. Airplane. So an image of an airplane. Okay. And maybe a last one. I'm gonna add an image of a car. So let's take that one. So for the last one, I didn't add the word car. Let's see what happens when I click preview. So as you see, the images are automatically put in a random order, and I have 3 words, but 4 images to make it a little bit more difficult for my students. So you can do that as well. And students will be able to combine to match the words and the images. Now, the more images you add, the smaller they will get, but students can always click on an image to see them in big. So could be a good idea to mention it in the instructions of your question. The options here below are the same as we had before, but good to know is that the scoring weight here, the 1 means 1 point per pair. So in total, this question will be on 3 points. It's also mentioned, if you click on the information icon, you always get some extra information about how things work or how you should set up things. So if you're sometimes unsure about the setup or the exact meaning of some of the options in book widgets, make sure to read the instructions, to click on the information icon, and in most cases you will be able to find out what you need to do. If for some reason you're still hesitant, never hesitate to reach out to us, to our support team. They will be happy to help you out or to give you more information. I'll add a third and last question, and what I want to do is annotate picture. So I'm gonna add once again an instruction, name the parts of the car. And yeah, as I just mentioned, if you're setting up a quiz or a worksheet and you're using a question type that you don't exactly know how it works, how you should set it up, usually it's mentioned in the interface here. If you read what is mentioned here, um, you should be able to set up this question type. Now, I've been a teacher myself, and we always tell our students to read the instructions, read the directions, and sometimes we forget to do it ourselves. So it's just a quick or a reminder to try. Normally, you should be able to find it out. And as mentioned here, we should start with a background image, and then create the fields, the input fields. So let's start with my background picture. Once again, I have the 3 options. I'm going to use the online image photo library, so I don't need to go to Google Image, download and upload again. So looking for an image of a car. Let's take this one. And then add some input fields. These are going to be the answers that my students need to give. So I'm going to click on the photo, on the image of the car. And here we have the door. So I can choose which part they need to name and where the field or the label, or how do you want to call it, where it is positioned. So I have it on my image, and I can also add the correct answer on the top. So it's not mandatory, it's optional, but if you do it, it's better because you will have an automatic grading. I'm gonna add another input field, and once again, click on the image, and we have our windshield. So, okay. Then we have our license plate. And I think by now you understand how it works. I'm gonna add maybe 1 or 2 more. We have, of course, the wheels. And maybe the last one here, it's our rear view mirror. Now, the writing without the hyphen is also accepted usually. So what I'm doing here is adding 2 possible answers. Once again, this is something you don't need to know because it's mentioned here. If you click on the information icon, we explain that using double hashtags allows you to have multiple correct answers. It could even be 3 or more. I only have 2 here, but it's perfectly possible to have more. So go back to the question itself. I have 5 fields that the students need to fill in. I wrote them with capitals, but actually it's not needed. These are not sentences. Also, it's not countries or names, so they don't need to write it with a capital. So I'm going to ignore the case here and ignore white space differences means if they put a white space accidentally before or after the word that will BookWidgets will ignore it. So you can even ignore accents or punctuation marks. So as a teacher, you have the choice here. If I would have a map of the world and some countries that they need to name, and I find it important that they put the capitals, then of course I'm gonna remove in your case because the case should not be ignored. There's some other options, but once again, it's the same like we had before. So 1 point for each correct answer means that this question will be on 5 points, as you can see in this list of my questions. So not sure if I already checked the preview, but let's do it once again. So here I have um, my activity and the different parts that students need to name. All right. As I mentioned, we're working from top to the bottom in this editor. So we're not done yet. As you see, there's some other parts that we need to configure. We've done most of the work, of course, by creating the questions. But reporting is an important tab because here you should enable submitting of answers. It's enabled by default, so normally you should not touch it. But always good to check because if you disable this one, then students will not be able to send the answers to the teacher and you will not be able to receive them and send feedback. Could be useful in some cases, but in most cases, I think as a teacher, we want to receive the answers. And then there's the general tab where there's a lot of options. Now, sometimes in BookWidgets, you might get the impression, especially as a new user, whoa, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things I need to set up. So there, I want to reassure you, there's many options, but many of these options are not mandatory. You don't need to set up, you don't even need to check them each time. Um, like the calculator, it's a nice one for our math teachers, but language teachers will not often use it. I've enabled the calculator, and today I will not have the time to present all of these options, but the general idea here is read the instructions if you're not sure and just try it out, because if you're playing with these options and you click the preview, you will immediately see the effect of these options. So now I enabled the calculator, which my students will see here on the top right corner. They can use it, move it, and hide it again. So there's a calculator, they can have a scratch pad, there is an on-screen keyboard if they need to have special accents or special characters in different languages that they don't necessarily have on their keyboard. There's a lot of possibilities, but I'm not going to present them all today. I'm only going to present those two here on the top because they are important in the correction and scoring options. This here you define what will happen when the students submit their answer. In this case, or maybe I'll change it and remember my first question where I asked the students which of the following transportation or modes of transportation runs on tracks. Imagine they answer boats. Then in this case, if you configure it this way, they would once they submit, they would see that their answer is wrong, but they would not see which one is the right answer because maybe they get a second chance. You can enable it, and in that case, they would see boats is wrong, and the answer that the teacher was expecting was trains. That's interesting when you're in a classroom environment and you want to give direct feedback so students can learn and move on. If you're doing this for a homework, for example, you want maybe to disable both of them because they might exchange the correct answers. So depending on your situation, you can change the settings and you should always check these ones because there you might quite often want to check and maybe change the default settings. I'm not going to tell a lot about the language you can change. If you're a French teacher like I used to be, you can put everything in French. And the design, actually, the cover image that we would be able to choose here is not shown in Google Classroom. So let's skip it for now and share this activity with my students. When I hit the share button in the upper right corner, there's going to be a pop-up screen to share it within Google Classroom. So I first need to select the course in which I want to share it. I choose that class. All right. And then I can set up a due date. Let's say it's for next Wednesday, maybe at 4 p.m. All right, I can give some instructions and I could send it to Google Classroom to all my students. It would be published immediately, or I can first save it as a draft. And this one is interesting because it would allow you afterwards to edit the draft and send it to a selection of students instead of sending it to the whole classroom. In this case, I'm going to send it to all my students. I wanted to publish it immediately, so I send it to Google Classroom. So it's done. The pop-up screen here is still open, but when I close my window and if I go back to the stream, or you already saw it appearing here with the due date, it's also mentioned in the stream, and the student will be able to access to this activity. And I will show you, because I have the student here. So in this case, I'm sorry, I thought I had set up the account in English, but some part of it are still showing up in Dutch, I see. But I guess you're familiar with Google Classroom. So this student is inside Classroom, and in the stream, I think if I refresh the page, there's a mention of the activity. It's also mentioned in the agenda. Because I set up a deadline, if I go to next week, it is here. And of course, also if the student goes to the assignments tab there, the student will also find the activity. So different ways to access to the activity. When the students clicks on view instructions, they will find more details with the number of points and the deadline and everything they need. And of course, the link to the activity. And this link will open in a new tab, and there the student has BookWidgets. Students also don't need to log into BookWidgets. They have automatically, they are logged in. And as you see on the top right corner, the progress of the activity will be shared with the teacher. And this is something that I'm going to show you, because this is the live view that I mentioned at the beginning. So what I'm doing here now is I am setting the teacher's view on the right side and the student view on the left side. And as a teacher, you can access BookWidgets live by clicking on the icon of the Chrome extension that I mentioned at the beginning. Now, sometimes it's not showing up there. It's behind the puzzle piece. I would advise you to pin it so it's always available when you're in Google Classroom. And then you have the link to live widgets. All right. So once again, the student is on the left side, the teacher is on the right side, and the teacher can see here that in the Google Classroom class, which has the name That's Class, there is an activity 1 minute ago in this assignment with the title Transportation. And we see that Alex has started the activity, but she hasn't given any answers so far. So imagine she mentions or she answers boats. You immediately, as a teacher, see on the right side that she gave an answer, but unfortunately, it was the wrong answer. Maybe she changes her mind, and if she chooses trains, you see that live, the teacher sees that the student has chosen a different answer, which now is the correct answer. So here it's only one student, of course, because only one student at the moment is doing this activity. But imagine that you're doing this with your students and you have 20, 25 or more students all doing the same activity, you would get a very good view of which students are slower, which students are faster, which students make a lot of mistakes, might need some help. I actually have an animation that I can show you that gives a little bit an idea of what it looks like. Here is an animation. So here is the same view, but just with more students doing the activity at the same time. And you will see that we have some students very fast and others much slower. And you can click on the name of a student and you will see live what the students are answering. I can do the same here with Alex. So as a teacher, I click on the name of the student, and on the right side, I can see what this particular student is answering, and it's all live, as you can see. Same for the second activity. Imagine she gives some good answer and maybe some wrong answer there. You can see it all in this live view. All right, and then we have the third and last question for the student named the part of the car. Now, what happened here is the same that would happen on a mobile phone. If the screen is too narrow, then there's not enough place to have the fields on the image, so they will show up below the image. If I make it a little bit bigger, trying to do both on one screen, then the fields show up like we've set them up. So if I would write windshield without the capital, it should be correct because we have set it up that way. And indeed, she has now 1 out of 5 correct answers. Rear view mirror with or without the hyphen both are correct. Um, Imagine I write as a student doors with an S, then it's not going to be correct for now. I'm gonna make maybe just leave one open, and I'm gonna make another spelling mistake here. License plate. I do this all the time because in French, license is with a C, so I make this mistake all the time. Um, student, the student then submits. It mentions, attention, you have one unanswered questions. Are you sure what you want to submit? Well, yes, because I really don't know what it is. So student sends and confirms. And as we set up, remember the settings I talked about. The student here sees which correct answer they had, which mistakes they made, and also if they made a mistake, which was the correct answer that they should have given. So same here. Sometimes the correct answers are mentioned under the activity, but they're all there. So that's, yeah, very handy for the student. There's direct feedback, and it's done for now. Students could close this tab. If I open this once again full screen, of course you don't speak Dutch, but it mentions that it's turned in. The student has turned in the activity. So I will go back to the teacher, and the teacher in the live view also sees that the student has submitted because there's a little envelope showing that it was submitted. Now, sometimes students, they do all the work, they answer all the questions, and then they forget to submit. If this ever happens within this live view, the teacher can submit the student work if ever needed. All right. Now, this live view, of course, it's not mandatory. Sometimes it's less useful if students are doing this as a homework. Then they do it all on a different time, so it's not needed to look in the live view. But as a teacher, you then go to classwork once they're all done, or once at least some of them are done, because as you can see here, in this classroom, I have 2 students. One has already turned in and the other one not yet. It's assigned to that student, but that student hasn't turned in. And if you click on the ones, get this dashboard where you see the names of the students that still have the job done the job and the other ones that still need to do it. And already the results are synced. It's showing 5 points out of 9 for Alex. Now, these points might change because there is an automatic grading, but as a teacher, I'm still gonna have a look and check the answers of the students by clicking here under the name of the student, and I will get the possibility to see the work of that student and add feedback and even change notes when needed. So I can add feedback. The first question was correct, of course, so I can write very good or well done or whatever. The second question, she had 2 out of 3, so okay, I'm not gonna mention anything. And then here, this is interesting, of course, because doors instead of door, okay, I might accept that one as well. So mark as correct, and the 2 out of 5 now has become a 3 out of 5. And then the license plate, she made a spelling mistake. So what I can do is add some specific feedback by selecting the word. And then it's like in your online Google Docs, you can add some feedback, or you could strike through, underline. I can underline this part and then mind your spelling. It should be license with an S. But all right, it's not completely wrong. So maybe I give a half point, which is possible as well. I give 3.5 out of 5. So um, it's always possible. The teacher remains kind of the master of the game. You, as a teacher, you can always change the grades, even though there's an automatic grading. The opposite could be sometimes needed as well. A student has the correct answer, but you have seen in the class that student was cheating. She had a little paper with some notes, so you might give 0 out of 1 if ever needed. It's all totally possible. You can add a global comment here. I'm gonna write good. Just mind your spelling. All right. And then I'm gonna send it back, return the work to the student, which has to be done in 2 steps because there's 2 separate elements here. If I click on return work here, I'm gonna send back this particular part with my feedback. So return to the students, and then back into Google Classroom. So here you'd see that the notes changed. It was, I think, 5 out of 9, and now it has become 6.5 out of 9. And here I can return to the student once again. So maybe you want to add some private comment. And here I'm returning the Google Classroom assignment. So it's 2 different things. You can turn back the BookWidgets activity and the Google Classroom assignment, or in most cases, you would do both like I did here. Now, if I go back to the student account, I'll once again do the translation where needed, but the student goes back to the assignments, and it mentions that it was graded. So the student opens it again, and the grades are mentioned here on top. But of course, what is more important than the grades is the feedback from the teacher. And on the right side below your work, it has the link to um, the feedback from the teacher. So all the feedback that as a teacher I've been mentioning, all the grades I've been changing, the student can have a look here, learn from it, of course, and do better next time. That's of course what we hope for. So that was BookWidgets in a nutshell. So I see that. Yeah, I said 45 minutes. I think that's more or less what I've done. Maybe 2 or 3 small things to end. First of all, there's a lot of widgets that are already available because there's some groups where teachers can collaborate. I've been creating a new assignment, but if you go to BookWidgets and you go you don't click create new activity, but you click on the left side on my groups, you can discover groups here. And if you look like for teaching English, you'll find a group with a lot of ready-made content. And everything in here you can duplicate to your own account, which allows you to still edit it before sharing it with your students. So you click on the little arrow and you can duplicate. Um, what I also wanted to mention, I've already mentioned, I think that we have tutorials. So yeah, feel free to check here, especially below LMS integration. There's one on connecting with Google Classroom, which is basically the summary of everything I told today. But if ever you're stuck somewhere or you have any kind of question, send us an email at support@bookwidgets.com. And then the maybe most important message for you, I hope you've seen some interesting possibilities that I triggered some interested and that you want to try it out. And of course, you definitely can. If you go to our BookWidgets website, you can create a trial account for which gives. Actually, it's not a trial account; it's an account, but you get a trial license for 30 days. But especially for you today, we have created a gift card, and it will be shared also in the chat or in the comment sections on YouTube and Facebook. So if you use this gift card with the link that will be shared, you create an account here and you can do it right away. If you click on sign up with Google, you don't need to invent passwords. Then you will get 3 months instead of the 1 month that you have on our website. That's our special offer for you today. I hope it was all clear to you. I hope you're yeah, willing to try it out and maybe share your thoughts or your ideas or your first impressions with us and with other teachers, of course. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out to us. If you have any question now, it's the moment. I am still available to answer any of your questions if there are any. And yeah, if not. Thanks for watching and maybe see you on another occasion.
Right. Thank you so much, Dimitri. That was awesome. Absolutely. There are so many exciting features and possibilities, and the ease with which, of course, you are a pro, but it looks like, it's super easy. It's nothing too complex, and it's, like very intuitive. So I'm excited. I'm going to give it a try. And thank you for sharing that link. I have put that link in the YouTube chat. It's going to come in the Facebook chat as well. um, Definitely grab this. I love the way you said gift for everyone. So, well, here's a Diwali gift, everybody, for all of you from BookWidgets. So
Yeah.
grab that link, create the account, try it out, and let us know how it goes. So do tweet, share with Dimitri as well as BookWidgets and GG Delhi NCR. What do you have to say, Rupali?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dimitri. It's been really mind blowing. My mind has been buzzing with ideas when I saw you working through the entire workflow, and it was so easy. As a teacher, I feel it's very easy for me to go through each and every step and give such an impressive output at the end. One query that was coming up in my mind was related to your feedback. So, when you
Hmm.
were entering the feedback and adding comments and giving your manual rectification of things as per you, in a customized manner, I wanted to know what is the scope and possibility of enhancing your feedback. Can it be audio? Can it be video? Can it be like, is it just textual or there is more to it?
At the moment, it's just textual, but we're looking into maybe adding other possibilities like audio is something that we're definitely looking into. So Book Widgets is also it's what you've seen is how it's now, but maybe in a year or so, we could do a Book Widgets updates webinar because we continue to develop, of course, our tool or edtech tool. So these are things that we're
Or
looking into. Yeah.
maybe the workaround could be that we can have a link over there, so we can hyperlink and lead that could lead to a video or a
Yeah, that could work. Yeah,
audio maybe. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that would be really fun.
Absolutely. And I also love the option of, manually fixing the points, because sometimes when you review and you find, something not correct or something not appropriate, you do want to, um, in the sense, have your teachers influence or a hand in it. So everything seems to be, in control of the teacher, yet you're giving students so much opportunity to play and learn. So that is also super awesome. So really excited to try this out,
Yeah,
and thank you for that link. And we are going to go for getting this subscription, try it out, and get back with more questions. And this is a request to all our audience. We did have a few who were joining in, from Indonesia, Philippines, and we had one of our Brazil audience also joining in between. So do go and share this out with your fellow colleagues. Let them know, what you have learned. Share this video with them so that they can also try it out and get back to us. Let us know how it worked for you. So definitely seems to be lots possibilities, and I'm looking forward to give it a try in my own classroom and see how that works out for us. I also saw one of the feature that you had, because there is so much, right?
yeah,
And you rightly said you can't cover everything. So because I'm a maths teacher, everything, I look at, moment something maths comes in, it catches my attention. So there was an
Hmm.
equation editor.
Yeah,
So if I activate that, would it allow students to type in mathematical expressions? Is that what
yeah,
it would do?
yeah. That's exactly
That's,
the whole point. Yeah, yeah. They
yeah,
can
yeah,
make square roots and whatever they would need for their equations or for science
amazing.
in general. Yeah, yeah.
So
right,
students just
right.
need to have Google Classroom, and the moment they see the assignment, they don't need any other extra, support or app over there.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
So, definitely seems to be something that is going to keep us busy, and we will go on, try them out and get back to you on this. Again, asking our audience, try it, and when do use it with your students or just play with it, let us know through our socials so that we can, bring you another session. As Dimitri said, they keep updating. So maybe if you have learned something and you have more questions, we can plan another session and get you your answers. But definitely let us know how it goes for you. So very
Yeah, so
exciting
huge
to
shout out to the audience that you should go and grab this gift from BookWidgets, and please go grab your participation certificates as well using the link which is there in the
right.
chat. So great gifts during Diwali season.
Right. So I have posted the link. I'm going to again maybe put that link for the certificate for today's session for your attendance. Definitely here it comes once again, so that you have, well, I don't know why it's giving me opens in a new tab along with it. So something new when I copy paste. So I'm going to remove
Yeah,
that. And
everything keeps updating.
yeah,
Technology.
I know. So I am definitely going to fix that. Hopefully, that is working for everyone. And give it a try and let us know, how it goes for you. And thank you, Nanang, for joining in. I know you're always encouraging us and supporting us. So thank you there in the audience. And he's just given us a bravo. So thank you for that. All right. I
Perfect.
think with that, we would like to once again thank Dimitri for joining us today, all the way from Belgium. At the same time, want to wish our audience a very happy Diwali. It's definitely festival time. Enjoy that in the sense of sweets, perhaps, and no crackers, because we already in Delhi are suffering from the pollution all around us. So let's not add to that. But have lots of lights, sweets, enjoy, meet your family, exchange gifts. You've got two gifts from us today, so enjoy those. And thank you, Dimitri, for joining us today and sharing that link as well. We'll see you all again sometime soon with more exciting sessions. So, with till then, thank you so much,
Thank
everyone,
you.
and happy Diwali.
Happy
Bye.
Diwali.
Happy Diwali and have a nice evening.